I'm going to send the link where you will be able to find this recording and my summary in the future. Okay. This recording will be available at here. Okay. I'll try my best to make this summary available next Monday, before holiday. Yeah, Paul had something. All right, happy Friday again for those who just joined us. Everyone actually is muted for better recording quality. During the session, please use the Q&A button to submit your questions. And I will leave some time at the end of the session for Q&A. And also I will try to answer a few quick ones in between. All right, it's 2 after. Let's get started. Happy Friday again. And this is the last Friday before the holiday. I'm a little surprised that there are so many of you are still here to try to learn Tableau. But whoever is here today, I think you will find it very, very useful. I leave the best to the last session of this year. My name is Mark Wu. I'm a Tableau server admin. We face a lot of challenges in scaling Tableau to enterprise. I heard similar challenges in the Tableau conference. That's why I'm putting together this Tech Talk to help you to figure out how you can make your backgrounders much better, much more efficient. This session is recorded, and I sent everyone the chat link where you will find the recording and my summary, hopefully before Monday. Mainly, I'm going to cover 4 things. One is how you can reduce the publisher's extract frequency when the workbook usage is getting lower. The second one is relatively easier, which is dynamic swap these query nodes versus background node. And the third one, even easier because it is pretty much out-of-box Tableau feature. Make smaller or incremental extracts run faster, but need some communication work. The last one probably has less impact, but there are some tips, tricks that if you have to make some VIP extracts higher priority. Again, the most significant impact will be number 1 and the number 2. So number 1 is mainly to reduce unnecessary demand. Number 2 is to give you additional machine power, specifically background power. Okay, let's dive into that. Part of the problems of the Tableau server is that Tableau server gives a lot of freedom to publishers. Unfortunately, they did not give us, as a server admin, enough controls how to govern the server, especially for the extracts. Probably this picture a lot of you may be familiar with. Long delays of the extracts, especially during the peak hours. So like traffic hours, rush hours in the morning or evening. So how do you handle that? We mentioned about 3 or 4 things. Let's dive into one by one. First, how you can reduce people's extracts frequency based on the usage. For example, if there's hourly refresh schedule where the workbook actually only use 2 or 3 times a week, do you think that hourly refresh is necessary? Depends on who you talk to. If you talk with the specific publisher, he will say yes. But as a server admin, I don't think it's necessary. I think a daily refresh should be good enough for this case. There are many, many reasons why people refresh more often than necessary. One is, again, Tableau server gave its publisher too much freedom. As we all know that every single schedule is available for every publisher. As long as you have hourly schedule, people prefer to pick up the hourly versus daily versus weekly. That's one. Secondly, maybe there was a workbook that was supposed to be used very often by the audience, but over time, there are new workbooks came out. So the audience, the end consumers, the interactors start to use the new workbook. Do you think the publisher will go back to reduce the extract frequency for his old workbook? Maybe you have some of those publishers, you're lucky, but many of the publishers will not do so because there's no incentive for them. So what end up with is that you will find out a lot of extracts are running daily, hourly, actually the workbook never being used that often at all. How do you do this? Well, reschedule them. Reschedule them again. Simple enough. How? For example, the principle is very simple. Hourly extracts, if the workbook not being used, for example, 3 days, that workbook should have daily refresh. Again, daily refresh workbook, if not being used by any user for 3 weeks, should be rescheduled to weekly. Again, weekly become monthly. I know you'll be asking, hey, Mark, how to find out these workbooks? This year, Christmas came earlier. I'm going to share with you the workbook that you connect to your server, you will find out those extract schedules that are necessary. Okay, I'm going to pin you the link. Feel free to take a screenshot, but I'm going to paste this link to the chat. Let's get a chat. Where is the chat? All right. I'm going to, in the chat, where is the chat? Okay, here. This is a link where if you go to this website, that's my blog site. Okay. Once you go to this blog site, you will find there are attached workbooks. Feel free to download them. Okay. Now, once you download the workbook, I'm going to show you what they are doing here. Okay. This is a workbook where it shows me the refresh schedule and how many days not being used with recommendations. I put all the IDs because I don't want you guys to see my workbook. For example, there's a daily schedule, but never being used for 15 days. Should be rescheduled weekly, right? There's intraday. I don't know what happened with this one. Should be disabled. Never being used for 200 days, but being refresh multiple times a day, intraday. Okay. This gives you all the recommendations. Now, how this works, let me dive into a little bit more. Click the data source. The bunch of joins, so I started with the first ones you see. You may have other better ways to find out those unnecessary extract schedules. I will start with the tasks table, where the object type is workbook. And with refresh tabs, you will get object ID that is workbook ID. And link this workbook ID, of course, with workbook table. You can get a workbook names and so on, right? Details and so on. And there is a schedule ID. Link with the schedule ID with the schedule table. This is a schedule table. From the schedule type 0, 1, 2, you will be able to translate that schedule type into intraday, daily, weekly, monthly. Okay, that's the key thing. Okay, and then this. What about the last time when the view was used? That's another very important piece. Okay. You may find from other alternative ways. One way to go is from this view. The views underscore stats. You do a simple calculation. The view there, in that view, there is last view time. Last view time. A simple calculation compare with today. And this will give you how many days since the view was used last time. And get the workbook ID. Again, if one of the views of the workbook is used, then we'll consider this as active used workbook. All right, so those are key joins. The rest is simple stuff, just tell you the site, user, and details. Okay. Now we come back, so we know that when was last time used, 15 days. We know the schedule type. Okay. And another question, how do you recommend? What's your recommendation logical? That's simple enough. Recommendation. Okay, but this is where you have to discuss with your management, your business, to decide your policy. This is a policy decision. Okay. How that works is simple enough. For example, if you have a daily schedule, daily refresh, and the workbook is never used more than 14 days and less than whatever days you decide, should be weekly. Makes sense, I guess. Whatever more than 40, whatever days never used can be monthly, or more than whatever days never used can be disabled. Okay. Similarly, if you have refresh schedule, the intraday means multiple times a day. Multiple times a day refresh, never being used more than 3 or less than whatever days you decide, can become daily or can become weekly, depends on your policy and how aggressive you want to reschedule them. Okay. And this is the workbook. When you do so, when you reschedule those workbooks, and maybe you are when you're archiving some workbooks over time, you will find out that you may have some orphan data sources that are being refreshed by itself, but there's no workbook connected anymore. So how do you deal with that data sources? Okay. There's a similar workbook in my blog site, you need to download the second one, which is for data source. Data source is very, very much similar. Okay, we'll give you, again, the data source being refreshed how often, now being used, how many days, recommendations. This is very, very much similar. Okay, slightly joined differently. Okay, for example, is from the still task table, but it's the type is data source. Okay, and come here from the usage. If I make this bigger for you, from usage, I can get it from data sources and the scroll stats view to get my last access time. Again, you have this workbook, you will know exactly how that works. Go back to my slides. Let's recap how it works. More technically, from workbook, you join the task table object ID to and the workbook ID views and scroll workbook ID from the views and scroll stat. And from the schedules table, you can get the schedule is daily, weekly, monthly, or whatever. Then you compare between how often the schedule is versus when was last time the view was used. Then you make recommendations or you make the change basically. Similarly for data sources, very, very similar. Okay, this is the recommendation logical. Again, this is for your reference only. You need to decide your policy, how many days, and change those numbers pretty easily. All right. The schedules can be from, again, hourly to daily, weekly, monthly. Now, with this workbook you are going to download, actually, for a lot of you, probably I would recommend you go with two phases. Okay, phase one, you just do a manual reschedule. You can manually reschedule them either weekly, bi-weekly. For example, you can get the recommendations, then you can reschedule them manually. You're the server admins. You are able to reschedule anyone's extracts. Then you communicate why that extract was rescheduled. Show them the workbook never been used for how many days and what schedule they are using for refresh is necessary. After you have done this manual reschedule communication over time, and you may want to go next bigger step. You can automate these things. I cannot share with you the scripts to automate, but I can share with you the core thing you have to do to automate the schedule. Unfortunately, there's no API. You have to, if you want to automate this, you will have to update the Postgres table directly. If you ask Tableau, they will say no, it's supported. But it's your decision, it's your choice. I have been doing this for a while. It's mainly to update the task table. You change the schedule ID based on whatever conditions you have. Then after this updating, basically changes the schedule frequency. You figure out a way to send an email to the user with the data points conditions you had. That's all. Again, don't feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable with automation, stay as manually. Manual has almost no risk. You can only get the benefits as a server admin, and in turn, you are giving a lot of background powers to the rest of publisher community. If you're curious how this automation, in my blog, I do talk a little bit more about automation. All right. I know you have a question. You reschedule to like from daily to monthly. The publishers are able to reschedule back to daily. Yes, you're right. Actually, this is the beauty of the self-service. This is the one thing that actually will help you as a server team to get buy-in from business. For whatever reasons, if the particular workbook was not used for that period of time, but the business know that they will get used more often later on, that refresh needs to be more often later on, well, feel free to do so. In a self-service environment on Tableau server, they can always change back to the original schedule if they want. But again, you as a server admin, you will not give up your process. You can always reschedule from hourly to daily, daily to weekly, if there is no usage. And if you automate this, that'd be even better, because I don't believe they can beat the automation scripts. Again, this is the world of self-service. Over time, you will find that a lot of your publishers will really appreciate your work because you are helping them, actually. You are helping them a lot with these scripts. All right, talk a bit more about reschedule. Let's say you reschedule monthly, okay? And then after like two months, 3 months, no usage, you can stop the schedule, right? Actually, you can do one more step further. You can even archive the workbook. Let's say after whatever time you feel comfortable, your business feels comfortable, archive them, right? The reason why I talk about archiving here, although archiving itself is not truly related to the backgrounder, it's because actually the same mechanism you will see. I'll go through very quick. When you think about archiving your workbook, archiving data source, there are a few questions high level you want to ask yourself and ask your business leaders, like how many days old the workbook is not used before you can archive them. Second one is, when the workbook is archived, how do you want to notify your owners? Like mainly, do you want to notify them before the archive or after archive? Whatever way you feel comfortable, your culture. And of course, how to handle the old workbooks, okay? I will recommend 90 days. Okay, you can change. I will not recommend you tell them before the archiving. I always do it after the fact to avoid unnecessary clicks, to simplify the things. And you can also archive work somewhere else for them to download. That's a lot of work on your side, but if that's what you wanted to do, feel free to do so. I would not recommend. I will just delete the workbook from the server. I'll find a way to email them, the TWB, throw away the data. Now, how the logic works against selection criteria, you may find other ways to do the selection criteria from historical event table or whatever, but what I'm trying to share with you, there's one other way, basically similar logic as reschedule. You can find out last used by how many days. Let's say 90 days, never been used, you can decide to archive it. Okay. And there is REST API you can use to delete the workbooks. In the community, you will find out how to pass the TWBX into TWB and the data and the helper. And you can figure out a way how to send the TWB to the owners automatically if you want. All right, I can move back. So we talk about so far, I spent a lot of time talking about the first one, reschedule extracts based on the usage. If you do so, you will find out you are saving so much of background tasks. You are reducing a lot. Try to plug in my workbook with your data source, you'll find out the right way. That alone actually will increase, depends on your situation, can reduce, can increase maybe 50%, 70% of your backgrounder efficiency. That alone, that's a big deal. You can reduce a lot of unnecessary demand in the world of self-service. Well, you may say Tableau should give us the feature. I agree with you. Tableau should. You may also argue, hey, I don't have a backgrounder challenges because I have a subscriptions. Well, you can still save a lot on your hardware. Okay. Let's talk about second piece you can do, which is how you can increase your machine power, basically. This is out-of-box feature from Tableau, actually. Since the TSM was released, I think it's 18.3 or 18.2, I forgot. The concept is very simple. This is one of the things that I've been asking a long time, how we can dynamically change the backgrounder versus the vSquare node. Well, there is a, since 18.3, I believe, the feature is available. The concept is that during the daytime, the vSquare is used more often by users. And during nighttime, the vSquare is used less often. So during the nighttime, you can give more backgrounders. For example, during daytime, you have 8 backgrounders. And nighttime, you can increase it into 16. Okay, like that every single day. You can automate it using the scripts. So how to identify which hours should change, basically how to know your usage pattern for both vSquare and backgrounders. It's really simple. On the left side is your extracts delays by hour, you can tell. You can also go by number of extracts by hour. Just query your backgrounders and the score jobs table. You can find all your backgrounder task details. Okay, on the right side, go to the HTTP request table. You can find out by hour and what is your HTTP request volume by hour. And very soon, you will see a pattern. So based on your users, you will still find a pattern. That pattern where you can, when you can have more backgrounders, when you can have less backgrounders. And the good news is this is out of the box feature. And in my blogs here, I gave the scripts, how it works. Let me see, this is scripts. I'll give you everyone the blog where you can find the scripts. Give me a second. All right, so you can find the scripts. I'm going to show you very quickly. Yeah, you can find this kind of working scripts over here. Simple enough. All right, go back. So far we covered the 2 most impactful techniques as a server admins we are able to do to reduce the unnecessary demand and also increase our backgrounder, more like supply, right? More backgrounders, more machine powers, depends on your use pattern. I think, let me see if I can answer a couple of quick questions before I move on next. Question from Alan. Hello, is there a way to post link of 19.2 version? I thought I post 19.1 version. If I'm not, I'll redo that later on. Okay. Another question is Alex. does your dashboard can show the size of extracts? No, mine was not focusing on size because it doesn't matter for me. If a site is one of your decision factors, reschedule them, you can figure out a site. Johnny, it is the IA. I don't know what the IA means. Alexander again. Some of the extracts are pushed to server. Yeah, from Alteryx, for example. Will your dashboard show them? No, actually, if some of the extracts are pushing to your Tableau server, yeah, you have no concern. Those ones will not use your background at all. Not those is yes, we can. Those how many days last time not used? Correct. Another one from Mike. Hey Mark, click the link. Extract frequency change workbook does not appear to work. Should the link automatic download workbook? The link I'll show you. The link actually downloads is a TXT file to make it simple. TXT file. That's the only way I can get it. You see that? You can either download, you can either cut paste here. Depends on your browser setting. You can also download, I believe. Maybe not download link the file. You try it. Okay. You will try it. It's a text file. I just think over there. Toby, my friend Toby, Mark, does the workbook take into consideration workbooks that are sent out data alerts or emails, thus may not viewed from Tableau server for long period of time? That's a good question, Toby. The data alert, I believe, is also considered as usage, considers last time used, I believe. Now, email means subscriptions, right? If you have some workbooks that are designed only for subscriptions, there's no usage at all, will the subscription be considered as usage? That's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure, Toby. You have to find out. I don't know for sure. That's a very good question. I don't know the answer. Are you refreshing it into SQL? I don't know. Another person, hello, I don't find the option to download this workbook. Sorry, you got to challenge to download workbook. My blog site does not allow me to attach the TWB. So the only way is I attach with the TXT. You find out maybe cut paste again. You find a way just cut paste maybe. See that? You can cut paste always. It's TWB only. Daniel, Cindy, for refresh schedule recommendations, do you factor the following? Subscriptions, data-driven alert? Wow, those are good questions. Script image, PDF download, and the REST API. I think REST API is considered usage. Script image CSV download is also accessing the table. I think that's a good one. I think that's good, covered. Data-driven alert, I think is covered. Subscription is only one thing I'm not quite sure. I have to confirm that. I think it is, but I don't know for sure. Okay. Paul has a question. Mark, can you quantify the benefits you have seen from in terms of resource saving? Quantify, okay. I give you quantify. Before we do so, if we quantify that, okay, I think reschedule alone, I don't know, give you a lot of details, but if I quantify reschedule alone, I think gave us half to 50% efficiency on the backgrounders. That's the most significant thing you can have. That's a good question. All right, I'm gonna go back to my slide, finish the remaining. Okay, I'll come at the end, I will definitely leave some more time for more QAs. Okay. So number one, number two, those are most significant impact things that can be done as server elements to make your backgrounder much more efficient. Now, why I'm talking about incremental small extracts run first. Okay, let's just step back. Tableau server backgrounder process has orders of operations. Okay, I put it together. If you find something is not quite right, let me know. The in process goes first, of course. Run now task follows, and then higher priority ones. The third, then if the same priority based on the time when the task was added to the queue, the background queue. For the same time, same priority goes by subscriptions first. Then it comes down to the extracts. From extracts, the incremental goes first and followed by smaller full extracts and the flows, of course. And then lastly, the regular full extracts. Why you care this? Okay. The reason is you should find multiple ways to let your publishers know. This is how the Tableau server backgrounder works. And there is incentive, big incentive motivation for them to design smaller extracts, to use incremental extracts, so they can get higher priority, not priority, but they can run before from the many other regular extracts. That's the main intent I want to highlight here. Just make sure, let everyone know. That's the incentive for publishers. Now let's dive into a little bit more. For incremental, there's no configuration required. That's how Tableau server works. That's it. Now, a little bit different for the smaller full extracts and the flows. Tableau server now is able to sort all the full extracts refresh jobs so that they can execute it based on the duration of their last run. It's not average last 7 days, whatever. It's based on the durations of their last run. So it's not very scientific, but it helps, okay? And the smaller one, the faster one will go first. Depends on versions of the server you have. If you are, Tableau is Tableau has been making this easier. If you are on the version 19.3, you don't need any configurations. Out of the box, that's the way it works. But if you use other versions, you will need to TSM set a configure to make this feature work or work better. You will find the documentations. If you search them, TSM set admin, but I gave you depending on version. This is my understanding. Okay. The key thing here is those settings are very simple. Okay. Really set one time done deal. The really big thing here is that's your ongoing. That's my tips tricks is making sure find all different vehicles. Make sure your publishers are fully aware, because only they are fully aware. Actually, they can make more impacts for you on the server. Okay. And of course, incremental goes first, smaller goes first. Those features automatically make backgrounder more efficient. Thank you, Tableau, for this. All right, I'm going to go to the last one, which does not really give you a lot of leveraging. Okay, the VIP extracts basically give some extracts higher priority. By doing so, it will not make much difference at all from your backgrounder efficiency, but depends on your business needs. You may have some executive extracts, even they are large, even they run long, but they still want a higher priority. You may have to honor those. Okay. Now, let's go back. The challenge of doing so. Okay, I'll go back. Actually, I want to show you. Okay, the higher priority tasks, actually, they do bypass few things. They do get priorities. Okay, there's no doubt, no question. Okay, the challenge of doing so is that, let's say you give a higher priority for certain VIP extracts. So one challenge was whenever the publisher has a newer version, newer revision of the workbook or of the data source, it changes back automatically to the default 50 priority. So that's a challenge. I don't know how you will handle this. One way is just, again, is update the Postgres table directly, change it, give the priority to whatever for that specific task. And there's no API for this one, so it's a little bit risky, but it works. It is very relatively simple. Just set tasks dot priority column to whatever number that you wanted. Actually, the second one depends on how much you want to do for the second one. Second one may give you more leverage, actually. Smaller extracts get a higher priority. Think about it. Smaller extracts get a higher priority. Although Tableau has a feature already, right? Make smaller goes first. But Tableau features has a limit. It only is still default priority, right? But you can make more out of this. You can set small extras higher priority, not only reinforced. When you give higher priority, actually, it bypasses other things as well. Depending on how you do it. For example, you can automatically calculate the average render time as average execution time of all your extracts. So you know what's your average, maybe 3 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You can make half of the extracts higher priority, give them 40, because they are smaller. That's, again, this is another way you gave back to your publisher as a good incentive for them to design the more efficient joins, more efficient workbooks, more efficient extracts. As a recap, this will not change a lot. Actually, the most important one is still we'll talk about unnecessary reduction and also the backgrounder swaps. Now, I do want to highlight one thing. I heard this from community somewhere some time back. My tip is never give higher priority based on accuracy. Some people wanted to give hourly extras higher priority. I say no, you never do so. Why? Think about it. If you give hourly extras higher priority than daily than weekly, you are encouraging the wrong behavior for your publishers. The publishers will schedule the hourly unnecessary again. So that's a wrong behavior thing. You will never do so. That's my tip. Again, you may have your own situation. You may want to do something differently. Just be aware. What behavior we are encouraging? That's important in the world of self-service. All right, I'm going to give a recap. That's all I plan to share. The 4 things. The most significant one is number 1, likely give you half of your background efficiency. Number 2, depends on how much more backgrounders you can give during night. You can increase during the nighttime. If you increase from 8 to 16, again, that's double your backgrounders. Number 3 is out-of-box feature, mainly depends on the versions you have. Is more letting business users know, letting the publishers know that if they design more efficient, smaller incremental extracts, their extracts will have less delay. And number 4 is how you will honor your VIP extracts. And you may want to take this to another level by giving higher priority extracts to all the smaller ones. Okay. I think I went through all. We have about 15 minutes. Let me continue to answer the remaining questions. Feel free to press QA button to submit your question. The question from Kim. Hey, I'm experiencing a slowness in Tableau desktop when I join 3 tables that contain 1-2 minute records. Even I filtered the past 2 years record, but it's still very slow when Tableau download the data. It takes more than 2 hours. Do you have any? Sorry, I'm not going to spend time on this one because it's not related to what we discussing here. Kim, you have to pose your question to the community for this one. Christopher, can we not simple reschedule the extracts via Tableau server by logging into Tableau server as admin user, reschedule tasks? Yes, you can. You can reschedule them. But the reason why I need to access a Postgres table is there's 2 things. One is you want to find out what workbook to reschedule. Second one is if you only want to automate your schedule process, then you need to write back to your Postgres. But if you want to do it manually, as what I recommended, you don't need write it back to a Postgres database. You just need to manually go to the server admin, reschedule them. Yes, that's right. The updates. People have a question about updates. Let me just go back. Oh, this one. Okay, go back to where it was. All right. The question is around these updates. This update is to update Postgres directly. Again, it's not supported by Tableau, and there is risk associated with that. And this API available for this is why you will have to update this directly if you want to automate. Again, if you don't want to automate, manual process actually will do. The manual one is pretty good as well. You reschedule them weekly, bi-weekly. That should save you a lot of time already. That should save you a lot of backgrounders already. Okay. The backgrounder swap versus vSquared. How to manage on the globe? Yeah, you will find out the globe. Okay, even in the global company, you will find out there is a pattern, clearly pattern. Okay, that Ankit, how can we get updates on the future sessions like this? Is very helpful. Thank you. Tableau support has been sending the update, sending the invitation. I even don't know who to send. They will send to you. I don't know how. What's the list that came? Another one is Alex. Can you please post workbooks in the older format? I have a 90.1. Okay, looks like 90.1. Well, I did not post 90.1 workbook. I'll repost that. Sorry for that. Multiple people asking 90.1 version. Okay, hence, good question. When switch from 8 to 4 backgrounders, when all the 8 backgrounders very busy, what happens? The extracts failed or complete anyway? That's a very good question. When you switch from 8 to 4 backgrounders, for example, all the existing, for the other 4 backgrounders, let's say they have jobs running, in progress jobs, all the jobs will fail actually. But the good news is that they'll be queued, rerun automatically. So there's no concern. Just for those 4 jobs get queued, it will not be that on time as supposed to be, but they will get rerun automatically. That's a good question. Because of this feature, this behavior, you may want to reschedule a swap like 5 minutes before the hour. For example, if most of your extract schedule is on top of hour, like 1 a.m., 2 p.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., so you swap backgrounder versus vSquared. You don't want to swap at top of hour, just a few minutes ahead of the hour. For example, 1:55. Likely by that time, 1:55, you have a less in progress tasks. Okay. Talk about Linda. What is the most effective ways to automate using Tableau server to use .bat file to mass print PDF with change filter in the notes field? I don't know if I understand. Oh, the question is around how to send massive PDF subscriptions. I don't like subscriptions. Don't try to send too many subscriptions. That's wrong way of using Tableau, basically. Tableau server is designed for interactive. But Linda, pose your questions on the community. Let's see if others can help you answer. Alain, is there a way to better manage users that click right now feature? Right now, yes. People click right now, they get a priority right away. Yes, I know that. My understanding is in Tableau's newer version, maybe 2020.1. Sorry, 2020, sounds weird. The .1 version right now is in the beta. I believe there is a feature that you can you can disable the right now by site. I've not played with that feature, but I heard this feature is coming. The question is around how do we deal with the right now? On the other side, the reason why I'm not too concerned about the right now is that how many people actually are able to click right now. Normally not a lot. Maybe there are some special events people wanted to do it, but I have no way. If it's right now, it's in progress task. I have no way to deal with that, be honest with you. Srinivas, is there a way to monitor vSquared session and dynamically switch process instead of time? Yeah, that's a very good question. You want to figure out the workload dynamically between vSquared session and the backgrounders. You can change the time, switch the time automatically. That's a very good idea. We want to do that. We have not done that yet, but try it. And then once you figure out, I'll be happy to schedule a session. You can talk. You can just share with us. Srinivas, try it. Try to figure out how you can dynamically figure out the vSquared session versus backgrounder timing to switch. I'm sure there is a way. Another question, how do I solve timeout issue of extract refresh? Can I change it 2 hours time limit? Yes. By default, Tableau has extract time 2 hours. You can always make it shorter or longer if you want. But I will not give anything longer than 2 hours. Reason why? It's because you are inviting people to design more inefficient workbooks. There are many reasons they may want to have refresh continue for 5 hours, but as survey admin, you should 5. You should not give them. I will not give anything more than 2 hours. Okay. If you use the flow default is 4 hours, I will recommend changing the flow default timeout to be 2 hours as well. Another question around dynamically swap backgrounder versus vSquared process. Is any server stop? No. This is the beauty if you use the TSM feature, 18.3 and above, it's without downtime. No need to restart a server. That's beauty. That's why it's called dynamically swap. Okay. Eric, is the priority for the smaller extracts 19.3 automatic. Yes. From 19.3, you don't need to configure that. Can you review how that was implemented? On the table, it was different from the rest. So I believe you are talking about this slide. Let me show you, Eric. I believe you are talking about this one. My understanding is that smaller full extracts of flow will get high priority, will get first from 19.3 automatically without any configurations. If you find something different, if you find I misunderstood something, ask a new question, you'll come back to me. Or when I post this, you can feel free to add comments when I post a summary to the Tableau server community. Feel free to just correct me. We are all learning. Will you email me the question from John? Will you email me the URL to download the workbook along with the meeting recording? I will. The meeting recording again, it will be here. I will put the summary again. Meeting recording, if you missed before, the meeting recording will be here, okay? Sorry, a lot of things in the chat. I'm not able to follow the chat. I'm following the QA session only. Saboham, how the priority number where schedule refresh affect other running tasks? No, you reschedule them, the priority number will not impact others. Basically, you'll be put in a queue. So that should be okay. Paul, and Mark, can you mention that what you told me at the TC regarding making subscription expires after 100 emails? That sounds really useful. Yes, okay, Paul. Paul and I, we have a similar opinion around subscriptions. We don't like subscriptions on the server, mainly because we think it's the wrong way of using Tableau. However, there are some needs, requirements for subscriptions, no doubt about it. Myself also using subscriptions. So how do we deal with a subscription where you're not using, people subscribe? How do we deal with the subscriptions people subscribe and forgot? So they don't want to read anymore. However, they don't bother to go back and subscribe themselves. How do we deal with that? There's a lot of waste on the server for that. We are thinking, I've not done that yet. We are almost ready. We're thinking to, for example, to delay the subscription, for example, after maybe 3 months, if you have hourly subscriptions. After 3 months subscriptions, we won't delay them. We want them to resubscribe. We're thinking to build that feature. We're not ready yet. Again, so to discourage subscriptions and also reduce unnecessary subscriptions. Yeah, that's another question answered. Asking the same thing. Unnecessary subscriptions. We're thinking if you have ideas, feel free to post. If someone has done this already, we would love to hear how you did it. I'll be happy to schedule tech talk like this. You can share with the remaining server admins how do you do it, how to identify unnecessary subscriptions, and how to delete them. All right. Can you please share how to change a priority for the extracts? Unfortunately, there's no API changing priorities. There's only way I'm aware of. You may have other ways. Only way I'm aware of changing priority is update the tasks table, set tasks dot priority to a specific number you want it. I'm not aware of how other easy ways. All right, hope this answers your question. All Sorry. Do you have a way to unsubscribe? Yeah, we talked about that already. Our Tableau server is 2019.2 version. We're facing slowness issue render when the runtime heavy extracts. Vasuthi, you may have to work with Tableau support for this. You think server slow because the running extracts could be, but I doubt. But it's difficult for me to tell here. I think we are running out of time. I can stay another 10 minutes. I have no problem. For people who have other commitments, feel free to drop. But I will spend maybe a few more minutes to answer the remaining questions, the other good questions. Daniel Cindy, have you considered using cumulative extract time as your qualifying metrics? Quick refresh runtime, slow run cumulative. Yeah, that's a good question. If you don't want to cumulate, yes, that's a good question, Daniel. I have to think more around this, but it's a good point. Cumulate extract runtime versus the average runtime for the last few days. The presentation PDF, the link, I just posted already. Is any option extract size volume? Well, I have the size. Is any option extract size? Extract size. Tableau did not give us a control on the size of extracts either. Okay. This is something that you will have to write some automation scripts. I think in my blog I talk about how you can, for example, we cannot stop people from publishing large extracts on the server, but we can find those after the fact. We can even delete them automatically. Send them an email, tell them, hey, your size of extracts is beyond whatever gig, that's being deleted. Okay. I cannot figure out how to do it by the number of records, but I can go find out the size of extracts. If that's if you want to know more, maybe we can have a separate session for those about size of extracts. We do have some approach of doing that. Can we fix this problem without adding additional nodes? Also in 18.2, there was no slowness. What I noticed was newer version has high CPU use. Again, please work with the support for that. Jeffrey, questions about your data catalog presentation from October. Is any table that holds the relationship of column to the worksheet? I don't remember, I'll be honest with you. I do know that I published, I gave everyone a workbook. Jeffrey, if you email me, I will follow up with you after the offline for this. There was a question around my October presentation. How do I get access recording for this webinar? I posted in the link, in the chat link already. It's not a question. My understanding is that admins cannot update the Postgres database with a read-only user. You are not read-only user, you cannot. But there is a way, if you search, if you Google it, how to update a tab Postgres table. Actually, I think I have a blog. Maybe I may have a blog. I have a blog site, how you can get your, what's the easiest way for you to get your read and write. Let me see if I can find my blog. Read and write password. It's the easy way. Oops, I cannot see it right now. If you go to my blog site, enterprisetableau.com, you will be able to see a blog. that I talk about. Maybe I didn't write a blog. I will. If that's the case, I will write a blog. It's pretty simple. You can get your read and write username for I'll write about this. Okay. But if you Google on Tableau read and write username password, you will be able to get it. There's some work to be done, but you can get it. Christopher, how to log into Postgres database on the backend? Is there any default PW password for admin? Yes, again, that's the same question, which is answered. Alexander, this is a very good question. Is it possible somehow to set up permissions on the schedules? Unfortunately, that's not available. I would love to hear others' opinions around this. I've not seen the permissions. I know why you're asking this. It'd be nice that certain schedules can only be available with certain group of publishers. Not simple, I guess. Yeah. Where to find the frequency recommendation data sources? Again, I posted in the chat my blog site. You can find it. Okay. Is there any option for custom links in subscriptions? Again, talk about subscriptions. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. Maybe others in the chat will answer that question. I don't know subscriptions. I think it is, but I don't know for sure. Another question is not related. How do you have maybe an idea how to create a menu for projects and the workbooks? I don't know what. Don't think I'm able to follow the question. I think I got to the bottom of all the questions. I think so. If I miss some of your questions, because there are a lot of them, there are almost 60 questions. You can feel free to post in the Tableau community. There is a server forum, server admin forum, where feel free to post your questions here, and the others in the community will help to answer your question. And this is where you will find the recording. The recording, there's small little sessions here. If you go further down of this community main page, say Tableau server virtual user group recordings, you will find the recordings be available. This place also has all the previous recordings that we did for the last 3 or 4 years. All right, I think this will conclude our virtual user group today. Thank you very much for your time. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everyone. I'll talk to you next year. Have a great weekend as well. Bye now.